Sir, all 20 cities in the Case-Shiller Index reported higher home prices than they did a year ago. How then would you characterize the state of the U.S. housing market?
You know, it's growing. The story should be much better. We have 5.5% unemployment. We have 30-year fixed-rate mortgages still just a little below 4%. We have home prices increasing. The biggest growth we're seeing today, quite frankly, is in new home sales, which are forecasted to be up about 13% year over year. Existing homes are growing at a slower pace, but what's affecting prices primarily today is inventory. There's just not a lot of affordable inventory in the market. That's not meeting the demand. That's causing some home price increases, particularly in urban markets, where most of the employment growth is happening.
Mr. Stevens, David Blitzer, the chairman of the S&P Index Committee, he noted today home prices are rising roughly twice as fast as wages are. If the Federal Reserve raises interest rates mid-year, as many economists expect, what will that mean for price gains in the housing market?
Well, we forecast mortgage rates to rise anyway. Our forecast today is to have interest rates level off at about 4.6% by the end of the year, compared to what we're seeing today at about 3.99%, which is today's 30-year fixed rate average. From our perspective, that does not change the demand for housing. Household formation is really a core component here, and it's growing at a significant post-recession rate at a level that's far more normalized compared to where we were a few years ago. That's just going to create a demand for more units, both rental and owner-occupied. And so we believe that the housing market can withstand some modest increases in interest rates.
Sir, with tight supply driving up home prices, then, how concerned are you that many would-be buyers are still being priced out of this market?
Well, it is a significant concern, and as I said earlier, a lot of the employment gains are being made in larger metropolitan markets like Washington and New York and San Francisco, et cetera. That's where the housing shortages are most severe. And so the question is, will new builder inventory, new supply inventory help meet that demand? Because if not, we're going to see a lot of household formation focused more on rental housing than owner-occupied housing, and we'll see the real owner-occupied housing growth in subprime cities or second-level, second-tier cities where the affordability factors are far more positive for potential home buyers.
Mr. Stevens, the rental vacancy rate at the end of last year, it was at 7%. How much pressure is this putting on rents, and will it be enough to make renters reconsider buying a home?
Well, the challenge is, at the end of the day, is if you can't get access to credit, or if you have trepidation about concerns about your future stability and your job situation, you're going to delay making that buying decision. We're seeing that clearly today. So to your point, the vacancy rate is at 7%. It was at 11% a year ago. That's creating stress on affordable rental housing. That has an impact of actually pushing long-term renters who likely aren't going to be home buyers into a much less affordable lifestyle as landlords raise rents because of the demand cycle that we're facing. So all of this is problematic. It's a tipping of the pendulum a little too far towards the rental side. Right. And when that imbalance gets out of whack, we get an imbalance in home ownership.
Mr. Stevens, we have a little less than a minute left. The Joint Center for Housing, it expects 2/3 of all household formation going forward next decade to be minority. What's the significance of that, not just for the housing market, but for the overall U.S. economy?
Yeah, so particularly in the Latino community, which is so important to housing demand in this country, they're making up a significant portion of new housing starts that are happening, new household formation that is happening in this country. The home ownership rate in the Hispanic community and the African American community is approximately 45 to 46%. And so that will have a depressing value on overall home ownership rates. It'll create more pressure on rental housing. So getting that balance right, making sure that credit policy, the cost of housing, and job gains are equally felt across all communities in this country has a big economic impact ultimately on housing.